So completely uniform all of it. Want to give praises to Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Want to give highest honor to our prophet and founder of the United of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Prophet Noble Brother. Want to give honor to the forerunner of the prophet, Brother Marcus Garvey, who came before the prophet, yet after the prophet. Want to give honor to the first Supreme Grand Council that was established by our prophet, Brother Garvey, and appointed Brother E. Millie Ill as the first Supreme Grand Chief. I want to give honor to that cabinet straight on down the line to this one. I want to give honor to our Supreme Grand Chief, Brother R. Evanston, our National Grand Chief, Brother G. Turnbull, and their staff. I want to give honor to all the officers of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I want to give honor to all the sheiks, all the sheikhs, all the members. I want to give honor to our charter, the Free and Emancipated Charter, as well as the Charter for the United of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I want to give honor to our flags. I want to give a special honor to Friday, the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. I want to give honor to everything pertaining to the uplifting of global humanity. Whether here or there, it all will turn out in Allah's favor. Now I would like to read for you and to you from one of our body of laws, known and styled as the Moorish Science Temple of America, the Divine Constitution and Bylaws. Salvation, Allah, and unity. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the chairman of the Moorish Science Temple of America is empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the grand body of the Moorish Science Temple of America. The assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. And it is known before the members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Act 2. All meetings ought to be open and closed promptly, according to the Circle 7 and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest, because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh, and on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended until the Father, God, Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. No member is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All members must observe these holy and divine laws, and all members must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live life accordingly. Act 5. This organization of the Moorish Science Temple of America is not to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. with us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a partial of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves or slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Then you are entitled to the name of faith. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God, Allah.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam. Moorish American prayer. Allah, the Father of the universe, the Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through his holy prophet, Drew Ali, amen. The Moorish Science Temple of America, Home Office, Grand Temple 13, 2522, Garrett Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21218. Son. Then I would like to read for you from the Great Meeting Zone, Quran question for Moorish Americans. And our second body of laws, known in style as questioning additional laws for the Moorish Americans by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Act 1. Grand chiefs and governors and heads of all temples, all businesses, each said temple must be approved by the Prophet Noble Drew Ali before acting upon by any members. Let it be finance, property, or any line of life that will cause the members to sacrifice finance, etc. That will cause the support of any group of members. Any former officer that violates these laws is subject to be removed from his office under a heavy restriction, etc., by the Prophet of the Grand Chief. Act 2. All members are to attend their ADAT meetings and their public meetings promptly. If a member is found standing around on his meeting period, he shall be fined 50 cents on the first case, and on the second he will be fined $1, which will go in his emergency fund. If a member is working his monthly dues must be paid. And if he has money in the bank, he must subscribe for as much as he is able to the Moorish Uplifting Fund, because it takes finance to uplift a nation. Act 3. It is the lawful and divine duty of every good member, if he is able in finance, to aid me in saving the nation. And if he does not, he is an enemy to the cause of uplifting his own people. And justice must catch you. Let it be he or she, according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, as I have the power invested in my hands, and I will have to enforce the law in order to save the nation. Act 4. All members, while making a public speech, must not use any assertion against the American flag or speak radical against the church or any member of any organized group, because we are to teach love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school. And the teacher must confirm himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise the 5 senses who is able to, because out from your Sunday school comes the guidance of the nation. Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865, during the time of slavery. But this is a new era time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabit the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All members must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a partial of all uplifting acts of the Moorish Science Temple. Members must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of the Moorish Science Temple. Then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds purged with blood and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father, God, Allah. Islam.
Islam.
Now we'd like to read from one of the religious pamphlets. The Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America, divinely prepared by the noble prophet, Drew Ali, by the guidance of his Father God Allah, the great God of the universe, to redeem man from his sinful and fallen state of humanity back to the highest plane of life with his Father God Allah. I'd like to read from page 3 to declare my intentions. It is always good to have good intentions. I'm trying to do that which is right.
It's not.
And we declare our intentions so that if we make an error or anything, that is on us. That is not on Allah. That is not on our holy prophet. That is not on the Moorish Science of America, which is a divine and national movement. That is on Brother D. Eddington Hill. But praise be to Allah. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons. They are for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones that they may learn to love instead of hate. Dear fathers, by these lessons you can set your house in order and your children will learn to love instead of to hate. The lessons of this pamphlet are not for sale, but for the sake of humanity, as I am a prophet and a servant is worthy of his hire. You can receive this pamphlet at expense. Islam.
Islam.
I'd like to read from chapter 39, found on page 47. Holy instructions from the prophet, pinnacle of wisdom. As the eye morning to the law, as the shade of the evening to the owl, as honey to the bee, or as the carcass to the vulture. Even such is life unto the heart of man. Though bright, it dazzles not. Though of soul, it displeases not. Though sweet, it cloud not. Though corrupt, it forbiddeth not. Yet who is he that know is true life? Islam.
Islam.
And with that, I declare our religious holy day service open. Reciting, going over the divine constitution of the bylaws, I have to say that when you see the spirit of the law in the law, then it reminds you of what you didn't do or what you should be doing or what you could have done. Our prophet is constantly reminding us over and over and over and over and over. And this is what a true divine prophet do. He repeats himself. He repeats himself in such a way that we take the tools of the workshop of the mind and apply them lessons, and then make it a part of every part. So it becomes an everyday way of life. It becomes our nature. And in our Quran, we learn that Allah has so kindly binded our duty to our nature that obedience to his precepts is happiness to ourselves. So we become happy. We don't become discouraged with life as we see it. You know, in chapter 39 in weakness, it speaks about the law. Early in the morning, he is joyful. And in the evening, the owl. This is when the owl comes alive. You know, so you got two contrasts, but they are not in this harmony. And that's the same way we are with our life. We have a lower self and we have a higher self. It appears that they are in conflict with each other, but they both serve a purpose. And what we have to do is learn how to manipulate them into serving their purpose. And so then we'll be in harmony. So there's a whole lot of things going on in my mind's eye because it seems like it's been a minute since I had to deal with our body of laws and things of that nature with the everyday issues of life that we see and deal with around us. So, you know, it's like a breath of fresh air when we can put all those ungainly things, all those troublesome things, all those things to the side for how long, an hour or something, and just sit and relax, rejuvenate, and get ready to face it all over again. until we get so much better with it that it's like it just moves out of your way when it sees you coming. Your problems, your burdens, you know, you can just jump right on them and move right out of the way. Deal with them one by one and be consistent with it. So with that, I would like to call my first speaker, the Grand Governor of the state of Maryland. You know, very beautiful brother. As a matter of fact, there's a lot that can be said about this brother because at times more gravitate towards him because of the character that he displayed. And the next thing you know, here the brother come. Just like he came this evening.
Islam?
With another more that I had not seen before. Praise be God. Islam.
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 First and foremost, no, I would like to give praise to Allah, standing out to the Prophet of Jali, standing out to the forward Prophet of Master Muzar Garvey, who came with the lion, voice, and helped mighty make you accomplish what you will, one God, one aim, with destiny. Standing out to the first appointed Supreme Grand Chief of the Supreme Grand Council, Brother Emil Liel. Standing out to our National Grand Chief, Brother G. Connor L. and his cabinet. Standing out to our Supreme Grand Council, Brother Everett Seal and his cabinet. Standing honor to all grand governors, chiefs, sheikesses, members, and guests. Standing honor to Friday, the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Islam.
Islam.
Before I read from my Holy Quran, I like to recite the Holy Covenant of the Asiatic nation. And I'll tell you why. He are the children of one father, provides care, and the breast of one mother have given thee suck. That the bonds of affection therefore unite thee with thy brother, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when he separated the world, remember the relation that bound thee to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother is in adversity, assist him. If thy sister is in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortune of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam? Islam. Deep from the Holy Quran of the Lord, signs from Holy Bible, divinely prepared by the noble prophet you our lead, by the God whose power, God and all, the great God of the universe, through the day man from the simple Father, Savior of humanity, back to the highest plane of life with his Father, God, Allah. On page 3, declare my intentions. If there's any mistakes, so Brother K. Cunningham L. Not a law, with the teeth of the prophet over to our lady. Islam?
Islam.
There we are. Then our Father used the left there for good peace and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Jesus in this context being justice. Islam?
Islam.
I like to stand honor to the chapter that our chairman read from this evening. But I have this chapter that's been weighing on my soul for quite some time. And it's found on page 41, Holy Instruction from the Prophet Sincerity. O thou who are enamored with the beauty of truth, and have fixed thy heart on the simplicity of her charm. Hold fast thy fidelity unto her, and forsake her not. The constancy of thy virtues shall crown thee with honor. The tongue of the sincere is rooted in heart. Hypocrisy and deceit have no place in his words. He breasteth falsehood and is founded, but in speaking the truth he hath a steady eye. He supporteth as a man the dignity of his character. To the arts of hypocrisy he scorned to stoop. He is consistent with himself. He is never embarrassed. He has courage for the truth, but to lie, he is afraid. Islam?
Islam.
And I read that because in this era of time, we have to remind ourselves what we had put on ourselves. See, when we say with it, that there is no God but Almighty God, Allah, sincerity has to come on board.
Islam.
Truth has to come on board.
Islam.
Because you can be easily persuaded, like our chairman was saying, the difference between having the higher self and the lower self. And sometimes, in that still small voice, we think we hear the law, but the same way we had that still small voice from Allah, we also had that still small voice from the lower self. And Lucifer, Satan, the devil, dragon, and peace. It says that we won't be tested. And I declared, I have been tested. And I'm still being tested. Some I passed. Some I didn't do so good. And in my heart, I truly believe that Allah is leading on and victory is assured. I've been going through some stuff. And one of the things I've been going through is with a landlord that's immoral. And I've been fighting with inside myself not to fall victim to that lower self. Because I believe that when you are faithful and you have faith in Allah and the Prophet Noble Ali, you see things. And some of these things may make you, if you ain't careful, fall victim to it. Now, in my place, we had a storm about 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago. The roof got a hole in it. Come down into a sister room, which the sister's right now, she's in a rehabilitation center because she had a stroke. I talk to her pretty often. The room across from me have a hole in it from the storm. And then in the hallway, you see plastic falling down. The bottom of the steps, you see what they call that stuff,
sheetrock.
it ain't good for you. Sheetrock, you see that,
Mold.
you see the mold and all that kind of stuff. I have not been staying there. But I talked with this brother. And when I walked in with the brother, it took every ounce in my body not to do some bodily harm to this brother. I said, brother, what's that? He said, mold. And he just walked past it like it wasn't nothing. And I had to ask myself, I had to pray to Allah. And I've been praying. Because I think that when we're trying to uplift fallen humanity, and when you are demonstrating unbecoming of a Muslim, then it's a problem. And the reason why it's a problem, because he was a Shiite. He was a grand Shiite. I don't think that when you demonstrating that, it's not coming from the higher self. And it's certainly not coming from the teachings of the Prophet Noble Ali, because that's not what I get out of this.
Islam.
Now, I love my brother. I do. But he ain't doing right. And he perpetrating fraud. See, I have courage for the truth. I ain't gonna do no lie. I'm gonna tell the truth. and what we stand for. And this is why I'm real grateful, not just only to Allah and the Prophet Noble Ali, because of the brothers that I have met along this journey. My grand chief. There's so many things I can say about the brother. But the one thing I can say about the brother the most is he is consistent.
Islam.
And I'm proud to call that brother my grand chief.
Islam.
Not because of what he said out of his mouth, but his actions.
Yeah.
And when I see somebody else that's in a leader role, that's demonstrating something different, then I know that that's the wrong road to take. Because that ain't what the Prophet Noble Ali teaches us. Say love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. What Allah and the Prophet Noble Ali teaches me. It say justice. It say be fair and impartial. How can you be fair and impartial when you live in that type of life? And what is that showing? And what makes it so hard for us to be able to go out and teach our people when we have brothers demonstrate that kind of behavior, shall I say. It makes it harder for us. And we wonder why don't nobody want to listen to us. We wonder why ain't nobody following us. Because we got too much conflict coming in between, and too much garbage coming in between, and far away from what the teacher of the Prophet Noble Ali teaches. Another thing I love about my brother. My brother came up with the Quran. He went right in the Quran. He went to chapter. I believe it's chapter 47. No. Shoot. I believe it's chapter 47. This is the uniting of the Moor Science Temple of America. Is that right, Brother Chan?
Islam.
And what did the brothers demonstrate? What are we demonstrating now? The brothers started that.
Yeah, the uniting of the Moor Science.
Uniting of the Moor Science Temple of America. And how close could we get to the prophet in that? The brother deserved much honor. And I truly appreciate that.
Islam.
It's our job to assist our brother and help our brother get back to the pristine teachings of the Prophet Noble Ali. Because all that other stuff, man, we don't need it. I like to extend honor to my sister Jackson L. Sister Kate Jackson L, our National Secretary. She's going through something right now. But as long as we keep her in our prayers, and as long as she remains faithful to Allah and the Prophet Noble Ali, all is going to be well. And with that, I say happy 3 times, 7 times, happy holy day to all Muslims all over the world. Islam?
Islam.
I came with peace and I leave you with peace.
Islam.
Islam.
Peace and love.
Islam.
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 Islam. How y'all more feel?
Peace.
Tell the truth and shame the devil. Tell the truth and shame the devil. But I'm struggling and I said, all right, got to make this meeting. I'm telling you, got to make this meeting.
This is where
I said, look, whatever going on right now can wait.
Islam.
Start putting aside these things, Lord. And the closer I got, the happier I got.
Islam.
Now, like when I came to do, I was like dragging my feet and stuff, and now I feel like I got wings on my feet.
Islam.
Yeah, I feel like I got wings on my feet. And obviously, praise the Lord that we have a true divine prophet. And when you tune in, it works.
Islam.
And I can definitely relate to you more because I knew the former Grand Sheik and also have a more as a landlord of mine. You know, I be listening to certain things that's going on, you know. I said, well, praise be to Allah. Each to their own.
Islam.
You know, I just pray that Allah remove obstacles and things out of my way.
Right.
So I ain't got to deviate or go down on certain levels.
Islam.
Because like you, man, we'll be tested every inch of the way.
Islam.
I don't care what we're facing. It could be little, it could be big.
That's right.
You know, test comes in all shapes, sizes, and forms.
That's it.
You know, it is a test. You
Islam.
know, man, we line up behind our prophet. Yeah, he'll safeguard us.
I'm telling you all.
It'll be so clear. I mean, it'd be like you can see these evil spirits coming at you from way down the hill somewhere,
That's
or
right.
way up the hill somewhere. And you say, oh man, and then look, and then when they know that you know, they try to get away from it.
That's right.
They try to get away from it. You know, and you be laughing. You know, Elder Moore used to tell me how the prophet used to bust out laughing sometimes. You know, man, he said, Lord, you just plain rich. You know, and it ain't got to be monetary value.
That's right.
It could be those uplifting ingredients that goes with our nature that we have that we can bring forth and they shine.
That's right, Lord.
I mean, they shine. That it'll be like in the chapter we it speaks about the Lord early in the morning, the sun glorious to him, the hour, the night glorious uplifting to him. But if you reverse it, you put the dark on the Lord, he ain't gonna be happy with that.
Right.
You put the hour on the sun in the morning, he ain't gonna be happy with that.
That's right.
You know, the same way when you shine that truth.
That's right.
And hide your spirit on falsehood and that Lord self. And you see it coming at you, they ain't gonna be happy with that. Now, that's amazing because the Lord self is happy when he can get to you. When he can cause you to deviate, something about no vain word, no sinful discourse.
What is this?
No profane language in the mildest form. Man, if the Lord stop and get you, even when you're talking to yourself. You know, when you're talking to yourself and you get the fucking stuff out, somebody like you be driving down the road, somebody like cut right in front of you, and you call them all kind of names and stuff. They ain't hearing you. But
That's
and
right.
here, you know, I be driving early in the morning, ain't that many cars on the street, and people got to fly past you, cut all in front of you and stuff. Lord, I say, oh, praise the Lord. I just take my time, then they get right behind you.
Right.
Just have to give me a little patience. Man, I ain't gonna move, I ain't gonna speed up, I ain't gonna do this, I ain't gonna just gonna right. And then eventually you find a way of going around. Ain't that many cars on the road early in the morning. If you're late, get up early. You know? I'm saying that Lord self, it comes in so many different forms. You know, in the Holy Quran and Mecca, it speaks about that whisper. He'll whisper to you something, and then he disappears. And then when you're face to face with Allah, and you say, well, he did it. He caused it to happen. And you say, no, don't put that on me. I called, you act, you came to it, but I ain't had no control over you.
Come on, Lord.
No, that's on you.
That's right.
We love the prophecy about the fire. You know, you say it came just in time, in due time. Now, if you ain't right, you ain't gonna get it back. I don't care who you are.
Come on, Lord.
You ain't gonna get it back. So anyway, And like our brother Grand Governor stated, you know, and I want to give honor to all the members who see that vision under the Uniting of the Moors Science Temple of Mind. Because a lot of Moors have eyes but can't see.
That's
Have ears but can't hear.
That's right, Mo.
You know, it ain't nothing like the way Allah guided our prophet to open up this path for us so that we can be redeemed, you know. And when you take something away from it or add something to it, it changes. It changes.
That's right.
It changes the saving power. It changes the everlasting gospel. It changes what is designed for the uplifting of our nation. It changes what is designed to bring us into that state of being clean and pure once again. The founders of civilization. I got to give honor to our national branch. You know. I remember years ago. I remember years ago. Yeah, I just say that. And to see his brother now and how he had fit, struggled, and tried on the various jobs that this movement called out for, and then adapted to it. And it might have beat him upside the head early on. And he came right back, fully garbed up, ready to do battle again.
Never stop.
Yeah. Never stop. No. He has looked at it a different way.
That's right.
Went back to the drawing board, picked up the Holy Quran, the divine constitution and bylaws, and then after he got that blessing, grabbed the Moorish flag and said, I got you this time. And charged right up the hill. Charged right up the hill and planted that Moorish flag. And just stood right between the Moorish flag and the American flag. And to this day, a lot of Moors don't understand it. They don't understand why they're both planted. But I bring forth call for my national branch chief, Brother G. Kind of here.
Islam.
Islam. Islam. Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
Islam.
All praise be to Allah. Yes. Having already risen, pray. I want to spend to give praise and thanksgiving to the great God of the universe. I always like to stop for a minute and just give thanks to Allah for all that He has blessed me with for every day, irregardless of what happens in the course of the day. Because my prophet taught me that this journey, in order to accomplish what I am here for, that is a conflict that can't be told in words. So actually, the conflict, the trials and tribulations is a blessing because without them, I cannot accomplish that which I am here to accomplish.
Come on, Paul.
The prophet teaches me about when thy bed is roses, beware of the thorns.
That's right.
The bed of roses represent when everything seems to be just great. There are some thorns in there.
That's right.
See, he said, but when our bed is straw, thy sleep is in security. See, the bed is straw is that I understand that some things gonna come, but I am ready for those things to come so I can get through them to get closer to what I'm here for.
Come on, Paul. That's right.
I got to always remember that.
Islam.
I have to always remind myself that. That's why it is so important. And how our prophet established this movement, that when we do come into this circle, that we get the nourishment and the remembrance that we need so that we can keep on doing what it is that we came here to do.
Islam.
I praise the Lord. I thank the Lord for the knowledge of that today. Because yes, I too understand. Sometimes, you know, you feeling the pain.
I'll tell you.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
And then on times I had to remind myself
That's right.
what I'm here for
That's right.
and what all of these things are for. And that the reality of it is that they're illusions.
Islam.
I give honor to my prophet for being an obedient servant of Allah. Let me say it again. I honor my prophet for being an obedient servant of Allah. He said to us, our prophet is an angel of Allah who sent to bring us the everlasting gospel of Allah. Our prophet brought us the best of what Allah had for mankind. That came down through the ages through our great fathers.
Come on.
He brought it to us. He packaged it especially for us so that we could take it and share it with the world.
Islam.
And that's what our mission is, to share it with the world, to apply to our lives and share it with the world. I give honor to the forerunner of the prophet, Brother Marcus Garvey. I give honor to the first appointed Supreme Grand Chief of the Supreme Grand Council, Brother Emil Yale, who's also the Grand Chief of the Moorish Science Temple of America. I want to give honor to all the leaders, all Moors during the time of our prophet who aided our prophet in establishing this movement, regardless of the role they played. Because actually, every single one of them played an important part in the establishing of this movement, in everything that happened from that time up to now was important for those who have eyes to see. Because what do we learn? We learn what to do and we learn what not to do.
Islam.
See, for those of us who had a little doubt, or maybe even a lot of doubt, as to who knows who Ali really is, if they study carefully his footsteps, the things that he said, and those things that happened after he transitioned out of the physical flesh, then they should become a little more strong or a little more fortified in their belief that he is definitely who he said he is.
That's right. Come on, Mo.
He is definitely who he said he is. Because if we study, we look at those steps, and we look at this history through the annals of time up until this time right now, every single thing that happened was teaching us. Our prophet was speaking to the Moors of that time and speaking to us right now, here, today. If we just listen, and if we just remove out of his way, if we move out of his way, all those other voices and faces, and we just move to the side, because as our Supreme Grand Historian was saying, for those who line up behind the prophet, and I often like to say this, that when you look at the divine constitution and bylaw, you see the prophet standing up there. See how he's standing? See how he's standing in the law? And I say that the faithful Moors are in the picture with the prophet. You just can't see them. Why? Because they're behind the prophet. They're not trying to stand in front of him.
Come on, Mo. That's right.
Because they have faith in what he said. Then stop trying to figure your way how salvation will come. Just follow me. Just follow. This is why we say that we had to return to the pristine teachers. We had to remove, we had to go back and move all that other stuff that was put on the path. All that other stuff that was put in there. You know, we know, all of us know, we had some history in here. We know some stuff was put on our prophet's path, put there for different reasons. Some by Moors who just didn't know no better.
Right.
They couldn't see the prophet, so they started to create stuff and put it on the path. So we had to go through it and move that stuff out the way. Let's get back to the root of this thing. How it is that anybody today here in the United States that wear one of these vests on their head, that don't have no markers on it. Anybody in the United States here today who have an ill or bay on the end of their name, who is identified by this country as a black person, they get that from Noble Drew Ali. Anybody. And every one of them owe him all because none of them do that.
Right.
So we had to go back and move all that stuff.
Come on, Mo.
Move it out the way. Let's get back to what he said would give us salvation. Let's get back to what he said would bring us what we needed. Let's get back, man. It's not complicated. And what we have right here, if the focus, because he told us something about knowledge, right? The focus ain't about how much knowledge you got. Because Moors have a tendency to want to try to sharpen their little swords up. And even to tell you sometimes, don't make me pull my sword. Pull it for what? To cut your lower self is what you need to be doing.
Come on, Mo.
Not trying to cut me.
Right. Come on, Mo. That's right.
The prophet called that fool 2 times.
Nah.
Because this right here is for your salvation.
Come on, Mo.
Not for you to try to use on me.
That's right.
So we had to go back and get to the root of this. And let's look at that. And let's look at when he said that he's the founder of the United Moorish Science Temple of America. Chapter 47, verse 12 is what it is. He's the founder of the United Moorish Science Temple of America. And he said it in his holy book in 1927. That's when it was published. He hadn't even completed the putting the foundation of this thing together yet. And he was already seeing how the Moors were going to tear it apart. Islam, how they was going to try to tear it apart. You're exactly right. Because we hear today as a testament that they couldn't tear it up.
That's right, Mo. That's why he said tear you up.
But he already seen how they was going to bring their own ism into it.
That's right.
And he was speaking to the Moors to come. That I am the founder. I am the bringing of this back together. Get back to what I brought you.
Come on, Mo.
Move all that other stuff.
That's right.
Get back to what I brought you. See, he seen that road and seen that other stuff that was going to be put on the road. But he talked about those Moors that was going to come in knowing and seeing. See, the Moors that came in knowing and seeing, the first thing they sat down and did was they studied the prophets.
Islam.
They came together with those who wanted to follow the prophet.
That's right.
So they could be seeing right.
Islam.
Praise be to Allah. Give honor to the National Staff United Moorish Science Temple of America, and give honor to the Supreme Grand Council of the United Moorish Science Temple of America. Give honor to all sheiks and sheikesses, all members, all officials. I give honor to all Moors across the Moorish diaspora who are striving to follow the pristine teachings of the Prophet Noble Ali.
Islam.
Because we've been trying to figure our way for too long.
Islam.
We've been trying to figure it. Boy, and the more I stop trying to figure it, the more it comes to me what I'm supposed to be doing.
Islam. That's right.
Because I come up out of my junkyard.
Come on, Mo.
Right? I come on up out of my junkyard. I go in there and I start trying to expose my soul to what my prophet brought. Huh?
Come on, Mo.
And I start seeing some things.
That's right.
I start seeing some things about me, first and foremost. And I start seeing some things about how we can move together and get this done.
Islam.
It begins with us just following the prophet. And it ends in just following the prophet. No matter what, even when you're wrong.
Right.
All you gotta do is say, I was wrong.
That's right. That's
See
right.
how
Mo.
easy that
Got to
was?
have courage with the truth, Mo.
See how easy,
That's right.
see how easy the word just came out?
This came out.
My jaw didn't fall off. Right? I didn't lose my organs. My tongue didn't fall off. My mouth, none of that stuff. Nothing drastic happened.
Come on, Mo.
And I got to a point today where it don't matter what you think about me saying that I was wrong. It don't even matter.
That's right.
Because it's about getting my soul right. It's about putting my soul in the proper shape.
Come on, Mo.
It's not about what you think. Because if I add what you think into the equation of me trying to get my soul right, then it's going to be a problem. I'm going to add some extra struggle on my trials and tribulations of life, trying to please you and your foolishness.
Come on, Mo.
Islam.
Islam.
Praise the Lord. Let me declare my intentions as our Supreme Grand Historian, and he said it eloquently. You know, I can't say it better, boy. You know, put this on me if something said wrong here. It's on me.
It's not.
It's not on, because that's what we do. Everybody walk around with a big wide brush. And no sooner than McCullough Bay step on my toe, all of y'all toe steppers. Ain't nobody on McCullough Bay stepped on my toe, but I'm gonna make all of y'all. Every one of y'all got them hats on y'all head. Y'all step on people's toes. No, that ain't no. Turn down, step on your toes.
Come on.
You get upset about something I said, you're upset with me. Don't get upset with the prophet.
Come on.
It's love.
It's not.
Page 3 where it says, know thyself and our Father God Allah. Dear readers, do not falsely use these lessons there for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. It's a lot of things that have been on my soul this week. Even today, there's no happiness. You know, everything happens for a reason. You know, and a sister on the job, she came to me and this sister, she crazy. There's no way to describe it. But she a good sister though. Young sister, because when she talks, she holler, right? And the more, you know how y'all short people do, right? Sometimes she holler, go on the toes, and she be having me laughing. I gotta laugh at her, right? But I'll be listening, she don't think that I'll be listening, but she wanted to talk today because she had a conversation today or yesterday with somebody. And it was about religion, right? So she want to talk to me. She got to hear what I got to say. She need my input. Now I want to start cutting. So I got to pay attention. But she ain't paying that no mind. We have to talk about this. And we need to talk about it right now. Because this is what I had to say. And I want to know, do you think I was wrong? So I'm cutting. I'm looking at her. I look a little bit more. I look at her. And I'm saying to myself, you know, so I have to measure my word. Because I'm hearing what she's saying. You know, she has some struggles. And internally, you know, and there's nothing when it comes to spirituality, what we can't see, right? You can't convince someone else of what you see spiritually,
right?
Because there was a journey that you went on to reach that place, and if that person hasn't went on that journey yet, right? You are, and like I was saying to her, we'll waste time sometimes arguing with one another about what we believe spiritually or religiously. Because at the end of the day, neither one of us can present something to the human eye that'll say, oh, okay, that's right. So what we doing?
That's right.
Only journeying through time do we get to that point where we can do that. Because if I go back from Watkins Bay, I remember during that time we first met, oh man, I wanted to debate with everybody who didn't believe in this. Man, be up all night. All books all over.
That's right, Bo.
You know? But I hadn't went on the journey yet to get to the point of realizing that that's a waste of time. So as I'm listening to her, it come to me. So I said to her, I said, you know, it really don't matter if what you said and what you believe in is right or wrong at this point. What matters is that you were talking with someone who saw life differently than you. And neither one of you could present anything to the other that would make them accept how they saw it. So what were you really doing? I said, let's try to focus on this. So I flipped the script. So I said, listen, this is what we need to be looking at. The fact that we got, because she said something in regards to how, you know, the brothers, they come in the temple, and she said the only sisters that are in the temples are the ones who are following brothers in the temple. So I heard, I looked at it. So I know where she's trying to go at. So I said, that's not necessarily true. I said, well, let's deal with that thought. I said, the reality of it is that your sister should be following a good brother. So I seen her expression start to switch up. So I said, I understand how you feel because you had some experiences as well. So you can only feel from your experiences. And your experience is that your picker is messed up. It's broke. So with your broke picker, you've been picking the wrong kind of brother. And so you don't see yourself following that. And I understand it. Because you shouldn't. But I ain't talking about the one that you would pick with your bad picker. I'm talking about that brother who is following God, or at least following some morals and principles in life. If you find a man like that, then yes, you should be following him. That's how it is by nature. I said, part of our problem right now that we are so far away from nature, this is why we are suffering now as people. So now I got her attention. She said, well, you know, that's a good point. So now we don't got all off of that other thing. And let's deal with something that you can deal with. Something that you can see. You can see how your picker been messed up. As a result of your bad picker, you had a child out of that situation. And now you were left to fend for yourself with the child from that bad picker. Stop making bad decisions. And understand that there's a certain character that comes along with that man that you should be following. And if you don't have it, you shouldn't follow him across the street.
Come on, boss. That's right.
Because then that like kind of break the pickings down then, don't it?
Oh, that he will.
That'd be great. I said, but there's another side to this. You got to be the woman that man will want following you. Because that man don't just want any woman following him.
Come on, boss.
See, because there's a lot of stuff going on in society today. All kind of funny stuff going on. All kind of stuff that is so far away from the natural order of things that you got to be, as the prophet said, fix not suddenly. He said, examine with care.
That's right.
Because there's all kind of foolishness going on out there right now. All kind of things that go now, where it's all right now. Sister on sister, brother on brother, and all that other foolishness.
Come on, bro.
Like it's all right. And they rationalizing this thing that's going on. All kind of movements, you know, before I get into that, because I gotta get to this, because I'm, you know, like I said, the more I keep looking at what my prophet said, the more I see how we're supposed to be going. The more I see how we have went wrong. Because we haven't put his plan into motion.
Right.
And his plan is clear. They're looking for a divine plan of ages. They're searching all over the place. You already got it in your hand. You just ain't learned how to read the blueprint yet. We're going to have to read the blueprint. Because it's right in your hand.
Right in your hand.
You were looking for something that said across the top, divine plan of ages. You were looking for something like that. I tell you that the truth is always hidden in plain sight. Because the fool will be looking all around. Because he ain't ready for it.
Come on,
I want to say this before I get to that. We should strive to tell ourselves the truth first and foremost, as much as we can. Tell ourselves the truth. And this is what I'm saying. I'm going to use myself as an example. I could be in a situation, I could use a job. You know, I have different skills. One of them is meat cutting. I got the skill, acquired the skill of meat cutting because I understood that it was a marketable skill.
Right.
Marketable skill simply means that it's something that, for the most part, I can pretty much always get a job. I can pretty much get a job anywhere I go because people eat meat. And people have a preference for fresh cut meat. Yeah, they don't try the pre-packed, gassed up meat. People done got smart. How you got some meat? How you got a pack of ground beef? They got 2 week shelf life on it. How they do that? people start getting wise to that. They must have some embalming fluid or something up in there to keep it bright red like that for that long.
Come on.
So that's kind of phasing out. People, so you know, it's a marketable skill. I don't really necessarily like doing it, but it's a skill that pays bills.
Right.
You know? So each time I find myself in somebody meet room somewhere, I always be looking at this. I always be looking for the exit sign to their independence. But this is what I found out about myself. The prophet talks about some enemies that we have. He talks about some enemies. He talks about inconstancy, intemperance, instability. He talks about all these in the heart of man.
Mm-hmm.
He said in fear, proclaim, behold, I said unrivaled therein. So fear is proclaiming that it has no rival, no opponent in your heart. The fear. And I thought about that, and I think about that in terms of this. Sometimes it is the fear of stepping out on faith that keep me stuck where I don't want to be.
Mm.
Think about that. Because sometimes we know a situation is not good for us. And we know we need to get out of it. But we'll stay stuck out of fear of the unknown.
Mm.
We'll become complacent in what we don't like. And we be like that person I like to say is sit down in the chair and there's a thumbtack in the chair. And they sit in the chair and that thumbtack hit that butt. They get the high. But this person, they kind of different and strange. Because they don't get up, right? They sit there with the thumbtack in their butt. And they keep hollering, I sit on the thumbtack. I sit on the thumbtack. Every time you see them, they still sitting in the chair with the thumbtack stuck in their butt. You be wondering, like, fool, won't you just get up and take the thumbtack off so your butt can start to heal? It's not going to heal as long as it's still sitting in there. As long as you keep sitting there, man, as long as we stay in those situations that we know ain't good for us, then we getting what we're supposed to get. And then we can't get in it and talk about, Allah challenging me. Look, Allah gave you enough. Allah testing me. Allah gave you enough sense to know you don't sit on the tap. He done gave you all the senses that you need to feel the pain and all of that. Use your good sense and get up.
It's not. That's right.
He's scared to get up and he's scared you might step on one. You don't see none nowhere, but you done got so traumatized that you sit there stuck on that one. So you figure I can go ahead and deal with this one than what I might step on if I get up off of this one. It don't change the fact that it still hurt.
It's not.
It don't change the fact that if you sit there too long and get it infected and some more stuff, and your problems will compound.
That's right. That's right.
See, the longer we stay stuck in a situation that we already knew wasn't good for us, the more it can compound and get worse. And so we can't turn around then and say, oh Lord, why are you testing me? No, all you had to do was exercise your will and get out. And whatever gonna come is gonna come. If Allah is my protector and my God by night and by day, then what's the problem? Just something to think about. Just something to think about. I'm not gonna be honest. So that's what I'm gonna do. I posted on our thread, so Moors know me. I don't be putting stuff on there for nothing. Because I'll be ready to share some stuff with them. Because I'll be looking at stuff, I'm telling you. And I've been listening to a lot of different things and people and stuff, where to try to keep my finger on the pulse of what's happening in our society and how our people are thinking. It's rough. But there's an awakening happening as well. You know, yeah, they're a bit rough around the edges, but they're awakening. And they're seeing a little clearer. Now begin to start seeing that prophecy when our prophet said, knowing and seeing. See, they starting to see the okie doke. They starting to see the banana in the tailpipe. They see it. They say, oh, no, they just, no. You know, and as I was saying, and the message that I was sharing with the Moors on one of our group chats is this, that the success of this divine and national movement is hinged of families. Let me say this again. The success of this divine and national movement is directly connected to the success of families. Man, woman, child. Directly connected to it. It can't be successful with a bunch of brothers together. It can't be successful with a bunch of women together. It is only successful when families come together. And families who are functional families, not dysfunctional families. And we have to address the dysfunctional characteristics in our family structures. And we have to heal our family structures so that we don't continue to keep passing garbage to the children. And they keep on, and this whole cycle continues to keep on. See, we can't keep blaming the government. There's people. See, the government is a thing. It is people that operate the government. And us as being a part of it, we have a power in it when we rise up and operate in it properly. We can use it to our collective benefit, but we can't do it in this dysfunctional state that we're in as men and women. We can't do it. Our prophet, and I gave a 5 chapters that speaks to this. We want to talk about the divine plan of the ages. Well, at the core of it is those 5 chapters, chapter 20 through 25. It begins talking to the young man. Huh?
That's right.
Because it is important that the young man get himself together. And watch this. Because we be thinking that I come in the temple, you know, and I'm whatever age already. I believe I'm not a young man anymore. But the reality is that young man in me needs to be addressed so that he can straighten out the crooked places in his thinking, so that he can come of age and be and carry the characteristics of that young man that the prophet was talking about in the chapter. Come on. Because that young man is the one that will go to chapter 21 and be the right man for that woman spoke about in that chapter in marriage instruction. In that chapter, the prophet talks about the characteristics of the woman. Woo, there's a lot. Who else is this? Read it.
Yeah.
Don't gloss over it, because he's talking to you. When the fame of her neighbors, you know, her tongue silent, she ain't caught up in gossiping. Man, everything on TV gears you towards gossiping. This is a gossip society. People make money off of gossip today. A lot of money off of gossip, so that one will be hard. It's so bad, men have got caught up in it. But them characters that the prophet need for this nature are laid out in those chapters. See, because that is the man and that is the woman that is going to have obedience toward their father. Right? And he's going to give them the proper instruction so that they can grow like that cedar that the prophet talk about in there. See, we're talking about nation building now.
Right.
See, but the nation can't be built until that family is put intact. See, we've got to stop playing these games that we play. Because we playing games. We want to bring the unconscious Asiatic way of doing and living and thinking into the temple and try to infuse it into the temple and keep wondering why we're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere because we're doing the same things that we were already doing. Most of the time, the people that know us, they don't see no different in them and us. So why do I need to come in there? I can do, because we're doing the same thing. We have the same interests. We like the same shows. We wear the same clothes. We talk the same way. We act the same way. What difference does it make that you in there and I'm not in there? What y'all doing? I don't see nothing. Well, your clothes look nice when you put them on.
Stop.
We got to stop. See? And then we will turn around and then we'll start looking at, well, why this and why that and why not this and why not that. See, I love talking to them younger moors, right? I love talking to them younger moors because what comes out their mouth is this: what can I do to help? I know how to do this. I know how to do that. How do you think that any of that can be of a benefit to what we are trying to do? Well, I started with listen. We got to learn to tell ourselves the truth first. We real nice, especially at Baltimore, these lessons. Oh, we'll call this elsewhere. When is the last time you have squared yourself with it? Huh? I use squares in my work in my business. I use all kinds of squares, speed squares, big framing squares, and those squares are used to make sure everything is straight, lined up. So I can draw straight lines, so I can cut it all straight, and everything will match up, right? So you put the square on it, and you cut off the part that ain't right, that won't fit.
Right.
You see? So we said it's our square. We need to go in there and start squaring up the men. Square up the young man in you. Sisters, square up the young girl in you. Based on this. It's in there. And let's stop playing games. And let's stop allowing ourselves to be influenced by popular society and how we express ourselves. We got to have courage enough to be that Moorish American Muslim that Prophet Noble Drew Ali is. He didn't come asking nobody for permission for him to be. He just was. And it didn't matter. And he caught flack from the big ministers and large churches and everybody on him. What are you talking about? That stuff ain't gonna go out. That stuff ain't gonna work. You pay that stuff no matter. This is what it is. Square yourself up and forward that. So the next time we wonder why the progression of the movement hasn't happened like it should have. All we have to do is look at how our families have fared in the movement and the roles that families have played in the movement. And in that we'll find our answer. Wasn't designed for us to be separate inside of it. It wasn't designed for us to come in with a Me Too movement state of mind. You know, the Me Too movement is those. If you don't know, look it up. We gotta watch these Europeans. She found out they always get in our system. Why? See, right now they have empowered our systems, and they are already angry with us.
Yeah.
So imagine them empowered and angry with us at the same time. There's no peace in our community. Brothers got so much work to do on themselves because there's so many things against them. And the sisters in their heart, they know it, but it seems like that after a while, brothers stop trying. And the ones that may have a little piece of job and a couple of little stuff going on, they want to try to become a predator. Man, we need to talk about this stuff, stop playing. Because these things that we seemingly see on the outside of the temple is actually happening on the side of the temple as well. Because there's a lot of unconscious Asiatic thinking existing still within the temple. And we got to address it. But as I said before, you can't get in the conversation if you don't be honest with yourself first. Because what's going to happen when the conversation, you haven't been honest with yourself, you're just going to get angry. And you will feel like Turner Hill or somebody that stepped on your toe. And you will pull that wide brush out and you will paint the whole temple with that anger. And you won't go back out the door. But if you be honest with yourself, you say, you know what? Man, I ain't looking at it like that. Wow, I've been doing damage for a long time. I need to get right. Where do I begin? You become like John. Why need I wait? Islam?
Islam.
More with that, I leave you as I came. In peace. Islam?
Islam.
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 Islam. Islam.
Islam.
Yeah, the body can't take a whole lot. It'll lay down on you.
Islam.
Yeah, it can't take a whole lot. You can drag it, but so far. And I've been pushing it more. I've been pushing. You know, I'm just looking forward to this convention more. You know, I mean, it's like our national branch, she informed us and implies, you know. Right here in Baltimore City, you know, when I reflect on those missionaries that the prophet sent out and how quickly they established a temple and large membership, you know, I wonder, you know, because everything is in due time. Now understand that, everything is in due time. You know, just like the prophecy dealing with just keeping the temple doors open. You know, the prophet, how they're going to drive men, you're going to need 10 secretaries, you know, to write down their names, et cetera, et cetera. And then, on the other hand, I don't know why all y'all here, only a handful of y'all gonna be saved. You know? So, you know, you got to understand the divine plan of the ages as it lends itself to what Allah has in store for each and every one of us. Because there's no telling where we may find ourselves, you know, at a certain particular time, place, or appointment. You know, ain't no telling, you know. 50 years ago, I didn't know I'd be here. You know, maybe 48, maybe 35, maybe 25, maybe 15 years ago, maybe another 10 years ago, I ain't know whether I'm gonna be here or be somewhere else because of the will of man. You know, but praise be to Allah that I'm here. And I want to thank our National Branch Chief and each and every one of you. You know, because together we stand. There is no question about that. Together we stand. You know. And with that, I call our governor to read the divine proclamation.
Salvation of God, unity, the divine proclamation, January 1929, Prophet one, all my, I'm board to read the proclamation in each meeting. I hereby inform all members that must send all halfway taking speeches while I work in their homes on the street. We have peace and not destruction. Stop flashing your card and your opinions and cause confusion. Remember, your card is for your salvation. Fails yours to be severe consequences. We're for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when those principles are violated, just them to take this course. Any member or group of members who overlooks bills toward the temple of the prophet or violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive their reward from the law for their unjust deeds. All true Moors will and must obey the laws laid out by their prophet. They use confidence in their prophets to turn their card butt, cease running internal affairs, and return to the statewide power families. This is a holy and divine movement founded by the prophet Noble Drew Ali. The prophets not right, the temple was not right. The prophets therefore sending out divine plea to all Moorish Americans that they do their part in protecting the prophet and the temple. This is an everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of the law to redeem his people for their sins by order of the prophet Noble Drew Ali. Peace. Home office, Grand Temple 13, 25, 22 Jared Avenue, Baltimore, Maryland, 21218. Islam?
Islam.
Back in the hands of the Bible. Chairman. Islam?
Islam, is there any announcements? If not, all meetings ought to be open and closed promptly according to the circumstances, love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. I will lead us in the Moorish American prayer, and I ask my beloved National Branch Chief to lead us in the private prayer. Islam. All rise and face the east. Oh, excuse me.
You want more?
Yeah, yes, sir. I'm gonna give it my best.
Islam.
Islam.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Allah, the Father of the universe.
Father of love.
Father of love. Truth. Peace. Freedom.
And justice.
And justice.
Allah, my protector.
Allah is my protector,
My God.
my God,
And my salvation.
and my salvation.
By night. And by day.
And by day.
Through his holy prophet.
Through his holy prophet.
Through Ali.
Amen.
Amen. Allah, bind our hearts and minds back to our ancient forefathers' divine creed and principles. This we ask in our holy name in the 7th year. Amen.
Amen.
Islam.
Okay. My brother.